Mulched up from the floor up.
Brother, brother, don't you know, it don't matter where you go, bad news has a way to seek you out. You can change the pace, you can run and hide, but that don't change the folks outside. The world just has a bite, it's pretty stout. Righteousness won't fill your cup, your dues you don't just won't add up. Sometimes you gotta fake it till you make it. Show them just what you're made of, and all your dreams will stand right up. It's all right there, just ready for the taking.
Hey y'all, welcome to Stivers Homestead. I'm Zach. Jen's not here. Jen's homeschooling. So it's just me today, but we had to get the garlic planted. And so garlic is one of the easiest things that you're ever gonna plant. I'm gonna walk you through step by step on how to do that. I'm gonna take a couple wardrobe changes just because this weather is crazy right now. It's cold, it's hot, it's cold, it doesn't know what it wants to do. But you're gonna see how to plant garlic. We got ours, it's elephant garlic from Hoss Tools, it's huge. I'll show you here in a minute on the size of it. It's amazing how big the cloves are. But we're gonna walk through it, and I'm gonna show you how to do it, because the biggest thing to remember is if you don't plant it now, you're not gonna have it in the spring. So even if you feel wore out from the garden, don't. Get outside, plant your garlic. So let's do this thing. Okay, so for the easiest thing in the world for you to ever plant and always plant, garlic. Garlic is a plant and forget kind of item. It's so easy to grow in any zone. There's not a zone that you really can't grow this in. You just do things a tad bit differently, but not much. So we're in zone 6B here in Kentucky. So how we're going to do it, which I'll show you, I'm actually gonna plant it so you'll get to see it happen. But basically I'm gonna be doing trenches. I'm gonna be doing single rows. You can do double rows or single rows. I think that a single row will just be fine for what we got here. But you do a single row. You're gonna plant them about 4 to 8 inches apart. The further space they are, the bigger the bulbs will get. And these are giant elephant garlic, so I'll probably go more towards that 8-inch spacing, just so we can make sure that the bulbs get really nice and big. But then we're gonna have it nice loose soil. We're gonna plant them in the trenches that I do. We're gonna cover them up completely, about, I think about 2 to 3 inches. We'll say 1.5 to 2 inches past the top of the garlic, which I'll show you. So when you have your garlic and you're gonna plant, let me see if there's already one broke out. First off, look how huge these garlics are. If we're getting these bad boys, I'm gonna be pumped, because look at one garlic. It is huge compared to my fist in my hand. That's a big piece of garlic, so they're true when they call it elephant garlic. So we're gonna plant it all the way to here, which here's your bottom, that's your root, and then you get your tip. So we're gonna plant them down like this, and then we're gonna go about another 1.5 to 2 inches on top of that. And then what we're gonna do, I kinda got a little wild hair and went to our nursery and got something that'll really benefit us, but I went and got some more mulch, some untreated, natural, pure hardwood mulch, that we're gonna layer on another 6 inches or so. 3 to 6 inches. This is the part that depends on the zone that you're in. So if you have a pretty hard and harsh winter and that ground really freezes, the mulch's purpose is to strictly protect the garlic, so that freeze doesn't get all the way down to your garlic and freeze it. So we're gonna have that heavy mulch over top of everything, and then in the spring we're gonna have some garlic to harvest. Keep that mulch on your bed the whole time throughout, even once it starts getting into the spring, because that'll also kill out any weeds that are trying to grow in the spring and stuff like that, and only allow your garlic to come through. So now it's time to actually get this stuff in. And just remember, because we like to act like you have zero idea how to plant garlic, so we want to make sure that the people that are learning how to plant and the people that already know, we don't miss any information. You're gonna get full heads of garlic like this. They have several of these attached to each one. You're not planting the full item. You're gonna take off each one of them, each one of your garlics, and you're gonna plant them individually because each one of these will turn into this. And also, I've seen a lot of questions, people asking, can I plant the garlic I get from the store? Yes and no. Make sure if you're gonna try that, you get it organic. And the reason I say that is the stuff that you buy at the store is actually treated so it doesn't sprout. That way it has a longer shelf life. Just another big box store destroying nice produce, but it allows them to keep it on their shelves longer and sell it for longer, so less waste in their aspect. So if you're buying garlic from, say, Walmart, Kroger, wherever it may be, you can try doing it that way, but it has to make sure it's organic and all natural, and doesn't have any kind of protection spray on it, anything like that that will stop it from sprouting. So there's kind of your rule of thumb for buying it from a store. We get ours from Haas Tools. We love them. Everything that they do is completely non-GMO, organic, beautiful stuff, and these garlics are amazing. So we'll link them down below if you're still interested, because you still have time. A lot of people, they wait till Thanksgiving to even plant this stuff. I mean, you can plant it really any time, but to get it, because we use this bed in the spring too, to get the harvest when we want to, and it doesn't delay any of our other stuff, we're planting it now, which it's right at the end of October. So we're gonna get these bad boys in the ground, and I'll show you how to do it. It's super simple. Just trench it, throw them in there, and cover them up. Y'all, I can't get over the size of the ears of these, or the cloves of these garlic. They are ginormous. Man, smells so good too. Okay, I've gotten all of the heads broken up to individual cloves, and now it is time to prepare this bed. This bed had our tomatoes in it. It was, I'm trying to see which one it is. This one was our Bonnie's Best bed, our Bonnie's Best tomato bed that we had it in. So the ground's been laying dormant for a while, so it's real hard. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go and hand till it and really loosen all that dirt up, because your garlic really needs to be planted in extremely loose dirt. So just make sure you have it tilled up really good, however you till it. For this one, I'm just gonna hand till with my Haas Tool spade and probably my Hori Hori knife. I do that for basically all the beds. It's really nice too and fun. So if you have a raised bed, just get in the bed and just start hand doing it. It's enjoyable to get in the dirt. So that's the first step. Let's get that done.
Flowers to my love for not letting me take her. I have longed for her so dearly, for I have missed more than I've seen, spending all my time on a mountainside with pumps for gasoline. I'm so tired of being alone in Technicolor motels, watching late night talking shows. Lately I feel like a road shot full of holes, leaving everything behind me. Everywhere I go, this ain't my bed. What I chose, I used to be outnumbered, but now I'm just a ghost. I'm just a ghost.
Hey, what y'all think about that? I had my little helper there. She was in charge of getting the clumps out, and instead of going around to the other side and getting them, she had to lean all the way across and get them out. How'd you do, Ray?
Did.
You did good. You did do good.
And there's still one right there.
There's still one right there. Well, you don't have to get all the clumps out, but there's the bed. I promise you, in planting garlic, that is the most difficult part of any of it, is just tilling up whatever ground it is that you're using. Because the rest, as you're about to see, super simple. Isn't that right, Ray?
Yeah.
You gonna plant the garlic? Yeah, all right. The first thing to do is to dig your trenches, and this is very easy. So you just take your spade or whatever tool you have and dig your trench down in a line as far as you can. You want to get your big clumps out, and of course any weeds you see, but just take it all the way down.
Did I make a hole here?
All right, I would say that is about 2 inches deep or so on each one of them. And now we plant the garlic. So Ray, you gonna help me?
Uh-huh.
Okay. Now look, so your bottom is where your roots are gonna come out, and usually your pointy tip is your top. So you're gonna place it into the ground as so, and kind of push, and just sit it up just like that. Let me see, make sure you can get a picture of that. And then, I'm not gonna cover them up, we'll cover it up all together. But that's initially just how you put them in. So me and Ray are gonna run through putting these in, and then we'll come back to you and talk about it. Okay, the first row is planted. They're about 8 inches apart, and like I said, because these are elephant ears and they're so big, that's why I'm giving them plenty of space to be able to grow. So the one thing about it is you can crowd garlic. Just remember, the closer together they are, the smaller the heads are gonna be.
What?
There's our 3 rows of garlic. You can do this several different ways. I like the trench method. It's just easier to me. However, you can just do individual holes. You get your spacing exactly right, however you want to, and then you can just drop your garlic right in there. But trenches work just fine for me. So trench it is, and now it's time to cover them up. Planted. So completely covered. I just tossed the dirt that I did to dig the trench right back over top of it, and I watered thoroughly. So now there's only one last step, and that's the mulch. Honestly, we could wait if we wanted to, because we're not getting down to extreme freezing temps just yet. But it's in the back of my truck, so it's got to come out anyways, and we'll go ahead and add it on here so y'all get to see the mulch too. All right, let's talk about a couple things before we get to mulching. So first, let's talk soil. We get a lot of questions about what kind of soil we use in our raised beds. So the initial soil that we used was a super soil from our nursery here locally. It's a mixture of topsoil, compost, and mulch, all mixed together, already blended. That's one thing I suggest if you're doing raised beds and you're gonna get some soil, don't skimp on that. It's gonna pay off in the long run, I promise. So get you a good soil to start with, and then you just keep adding compost to it. So some of the stuff that we add to amend in our beds is, first off, rabbit droppings. Rabbit is amazing. It can go straight into the garden. It's cold, it's not hot, so you don't have to wait for it to compost down at all. You can put it straight in the garden. So as I was hand tilling that, I saw it all in there, and it's just gonna decompose right into the soil, give it all kinds of good nutrients. Second thing we do is our own actual compost bin. So we compost all of our food and all the other different stuff that we throw in the compost, the chicken scraps from cleaning up their beds, just everything. So we let that compost, now that you do have to let age and actually compost down, but we usually do that in the spring and just kind of mix into our soil. The last thing is mulch. So sometimes we use straw to help with a splashback on any kind of rain or anything like that. But for this, I've actually got hardwood mulch. Completely all natural. There's not been a single thing sprayed on it. That's certified. That's one thing that's nice about getting at your local nurseries. They usually have all that documentation because they're ready for those questions. So this is a nice hardwood mulch. Smells good too. Smells good and mulchy. Actually has a nice soil smell to it as well. So one thing about this is it's going to protect our actual mulch, or it's going to protect our garlic in there But also this is gonna be good amended back into the soil when we pull it out and come spring and we can turn it in there. It's good stuff. It's gonna decompose right into the soil and just add more nutrients to it, and also keep it airy. So you wanna keep your soil as airy as possible and loose, because that's gonna be the best way to try to be able to grow anything. So you're gonna be good to go in that aspect. I highly suggest finding your local nursery for all the different soil and mulching things that you need. So now I'm gonna put a few inches on top of our garlic bed here and call it a day. Mulched up from the floor up. So we are completely done with the garlic. So I ended up going about 5 inches on top for my mulch, and the reason I know it's about 5 inches is because we have 18-foot raised beds, used a 12-inch board and a 6-inch board. So the soil was right at 12 inches, and if I had to guess, all the way around there's about 1 inch of wood showing, which indicates about my 5 inches of mulch. So, garlic, complete. All right, y'all. So, there was a few steps in place to, really get the garlic planted. However, it's so simple to plant. And the biggest reason I urge you all to go ahead and do it, because right now it's pretty much the end of your summer or spring garden. And you're like, man, I'm tired. I just want to relax and chill. But, come next spring, when we're harvesting garlic, and you're not, you're like, man, I really wish I planted garlic last fall. So that's the biggest reason that you still have plenty of time. If you're in your mind like, I just won't worry about it this year, listen, this is a long processor here. So you go ahead and do it and get it done and get it planted. That way, next spring, we're all harvesting garlic together and super pumped and super happy, right? Come on, y'all. It doesn't take much to get this done. Also the mulch, don't buy bags. I get a full truckload for 20 bucks at our local place. They just throw a Bobcat full in there. You're gonna get it so much cheaper than actually buying bagged mulch. So try to find your local nursery for that too, in that aspect. I forgot to talk about that when we talk about mulch. But hope you all have enjoyed this nice quick video on how to plant garlic, a little step-by-step tutorial. So a couple things to just truly remember when you're doing this. One, if you're buying garlic, don't just use it from the store if you don't know where it truly came from, just for the one that they've sprayed stuff on it to where it won't sprout, and then you're gonna come spring and not have any garlic. So if you do get from a store, make sure it's organic, make sure there's nothing on it, and it'll sprout and it's good to go. My garlic, mine and Jen's that I planted here is elephant garlic from Haas Tools. We'll have that link below. So if you're interested in getting that, you still can. It's huge bulbs as you saw. I'm pretty pumped about that, but they also have other regular size garlic too if you want. Make sure your soil's loose. Wherever you're planting, just make sure it's a loose soil. Plant it about 1.5 inches to 2 inches deep. Cover up your rows. Oh, you can space them 4 to 8 inches. I went about 8 inches just because I have elephant garlic and it's gonna have really, really big heads. I wanted to make sure there was plenty of space in between the garlic to be able to do that. So, but if you're using smaller, you can probably go more to the 4 to 6 inch range. Your rows, about 1 foot apart-ish. Really, it could probably be even closer, but I did about 1 foot. Other than that, cover with mulch because it's going to grow all through the winter. You need to have a very nice heavy layer of mulch on top just so that freeze doesn't hit it. So if you're in the more southern states, you might not have to worry about that. If you don't have much of a freeze, maybe just a light covering. The further north you go, a little bit heavier over the mulch. Make sure that freeze doesn't get down to the very, very sensitive garlic cloves. We did 5 inches here. We're in Kentucky, 6B, about right in the middle of the country. So just keep that in mind when you're planting, but other than that, that's it. We're gonna let this bad boy sit, forget about it, and then come spring, we'll harvest. And we'll have huge, giant elephant heads of garlic. So that's all you gotta do to plant your garlic. Make sure you do it. Get outside, plant that garlic, harvest it with us next spring, and don't wish that you did plant the last fall. That's all we got for today, y'all. We love you, and until the next one, bye.